We're here with Phil. Phil's got the use of an amazing Koenigsegg. Phil, tell us about the car.
Yeah, this particular Koenigsegg is a CCX. It's 3 years old. It's got an 830 horsepower twin supercharged engine. This car is capable of 250 miles an hour. Weighs just over 1,200 kilos, which is the weight of Ford Focus. It's a very, very quick car. 0 to 60 doesn't really come into it, but certainly 0 to 200 is absolutely awesome, the speed it picks up. It's got everything on it, all the gizmos you'd expect. It probably hasn't got as many electrics as a Veyron has got, but it's a real driver's car. It's fabulous. I thoroughly enjoyed driving it around Thruxton this morning.
Yeah, we saw you around the track, giving it some welly.
Yes, unfortunately I got black flagged because it was a bit too noisy.
Oh, you dear.
Yeah, well, I actually only stuck to 5,000 RPM, and it will happily rev to over 7, so goodness knows what would have happened if I'd gone to 7. No, it's a rare car. I think 80 have been built so far. The new Koenigsegg Agera will certainly take on the new Veyron record. The factory, we were with Christian Koenigsegg at Le Mans only a couple of months ago. Michelin have designed a special tyre for the Koenigsegg, which will be able to run happily up to, I gather, 270 mile an hour. The problem that they've got at the factory, and it's well documented, that Volkswagen will not let them use the 5 mile straight. Everyone else can use it,
right.
but not Koenigsegg.
Why is that?
Well, it's quite apparent. In a straight line, this car is something like 700 kilos lighter than the Veyron with the same horsepower. I think you might have seen the interview with Jay Leno. He drove one, and when he'd finished driving it, he said, well, I know which will be the quicker car, the car that's...
Why don't we get Lord Pembroke's Veyron?
Yes.
And we'll have a little race up the hill. Should we get him?
Well, if he's quite happy to,
yeah?
Yes.
We'll find him. We'll find him, Phil.
When this car first was introduced to the public, I was fortunate enough to be with one of the early cars, and we had to cover up the door mechanism because there's nobody else. Although it's patented, no other car has got a mechanism like this. I mean, I think people have copied it now, but this mechanism here was unique at the time of opening up the door, and it does make. I've just recently sold a Diablo, and whilst it is good that the doors go up, this gives you a complete opening. So. And you can see they're very, very, very light. The whole car is carbon and titanium. Everything. I'm led to believe that they were raving about the new carbon tub on the McLaren. This is a lighter tub on this car than the McLaren. Everything you can see. The top. I don't think the roof comes off on the Veyron unless it's the latest one. The top comes off on this, goes into a suede bag, which slots in the front.
Doesn't take a week to take it off, though, does it, Phil?
Well, the thing is there, because of the speeds of this, there are a couple of safety things you have to do. This comes off in about 2 minutes.
Oh, excellent.
And it slots in the front. So straight away you've got a spider. The engine is, well, it's well over 800 horsepower. We're running it on the top 102 octane fuel. When the car was designed, the people they had to design it, a lot of them had Formula One experience. Unless the FXX, I'm not sure the weight of the Ferrari FXX, but this is certainly light as far as supercars go. Everything is you can see is carbon,
yeah,
and lots of other lightweight materials. This car comes with carbon wheels. We haven't been running it on carbon wheels, but it has got a complete set of carbon wheels, which again is pretty unusual. Motorbikes have, some motorbikes, Ducatis have carbon wheels. This car has got a proper set of carbon wheels, and you know, they are amazing. It's really more for the racetrack.
Which you're not allowed on.
No, well, yeah, it's...
Tell us about this little key fob that you've got tucked away here. Here we go, a little giggle. You know there's trouble.
No, well, that unlocks one or two things on the car.
Go on. Let's say, go on. Something about speed, isn't it?
No, you keep this in the car.
Yeah.
And it does unlock one or two bits and pieces on the car, but for security. I can't go into any more detail. If you lose that, then there's all sorts of problems. But
a bit of a kerfuffle, is it?
If you want to go over 200, it's on the door panel. If you want to go over 220 miles an hour,
220 mile an hour, which we do at times, Phil. Let's be fair.
I know the handbook says you should speak to the factory beforehand.
We don't need to worry about that.
Also, the tyre pressures have got to be changed, and I think they like to know that the car is, you know, it's been serviced and everything.
Right, so you're not allowed to go over 220
you could
unless as long as you've got the little fob. Permission. Yeah. As long as you've got permission.
Yeah. But it's only sensible. I mean, a Formula One car. There's not many Formula One cars. Top speed will do 220, whereas this was actually road tested. I think certainly 250. It was 5 years ago. This was the world's fastest car in the Guinness Book of Records. And the Veyron has beaten it by just a couple of kilometres an hour. And this new one they brought out, the new Veyron, they obviously used the Volkswagen's test track.
Yeah.
But I am confident in the next year you'll see Koenigsegg, the world's fastest car again, definitely. And they are coming back to Top Gear, and I think you'll see the Stig being able to take this round. And
you know that I'm the Stig, don't you? Did you know that?
I've seen the Stig with his helmet off, so I know exactly who he is. So hopefully, and I mean, you know, it's great that it's a factory in Sweden.
Yeah.
And Christian Koenigsegg, he's a great engineer. He's got some, terrific engineers that work, 50 or 60 people. I'm led to believe he's got 9 new cars on order. That's the newer Gira. It was in, I think, Evo magazine recently, and it was at Festival of Speed. It looks similar, but there's a lot of things have been changed. The new one now is paddle, and it's the quickest paddle change, quicker than a Ferrari apparently, so I'm led to believe.
What about the 458? That's pretty dynamic. I was driving one of them this morning. It shifts and the
milliseconds.
It's pretty quick. Yeah, the gear change.
I haven't driven the Gira. The only thing I did was at the Festival of Speed. The test driver, who I know very well, he couldn't get it started, and what it was with the paddle shift, your foot has to go on the brake pedal.
Yeah, in neutral, flick into first.
Yeah, well, it fired up. Anyhow, I'm a little bit disappointed it's not the noisiest car here. But
you've done really well, Phil.
It's certainly the quickest car here.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if the Lord Pembroke does want to.
Well, we'll try and find him and see if he wants a race. Maybe a race between those two trees and back.
Yeah.
Why not? It's a bit slippery. We could have like a slalom.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'd want to do that.
He's got gardeners to clean up afterwards.
Yes, I know.
Running costs?
Anyhow.
Running costs. You know the running costs on this, Phil? Do you want to comment?
Well,
how much are new tyres?
A tyre for this car, I'm led to believe it's a Michelin Pilot Sport, and the compound. I know when we were at with the Stig at Dunsfold, the compound on these are slightly different from the Koenigsegg. They're about £850 a tyre. You don't have to keep changing the wheels like you do on a Veyron.
You don't like this Veyron much, do you?
Well, I do.
Anyway, go on.
Every Veyron has cost Volkswagen £5 million.
Bargain. What about servicing? Where'd you take it? Sweden.
It's not too expensive to service unless you need any bits, and yes, they are expensive. But basically, It's relatively straightforward. I think there's 2 places in the UK. I think there's six Koenigseggs, including the new owner of Harrods, as shot to fame last week when his blue Koenigsegg was parked outside Harrods. You might have seen it in the papers.
Yeah.
And his Lamborghini was behind it, and they got wheel clamped.
They can afford a little fine.
Running costs, when this car's at high speed, and I look on the digital, it drops down to about 4 to the gallon.
Down to 40?
4 miles. About 4 to the gallon, yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we've been driving sensibly today across country, and I looked at it, and it was about 13 to the gallon.
It's not too bad.
No,
it's the same
40.
as that's like a Ferrari 430 roundabouts.
Yeah. So it all depends. But it has got 2 superchargers, twin blade superchargers. So what else can I tell you? No, nearly everything is carbon.
Yeah.
It has them with special metals. There's a very special gearbox.
It all seems quite accessible as well.
It is, yes.
Unlike, like, say, a Lamborghini Mercy, you've got to take half the bodywork off before you get to it.
Underneath, it's all carbon floor. That just drops down and you can get to everything. This comes off relatively quickly. So
basically it's a joy.
It is a nice car to drive.
It's a pleasure, yeah?
It's a nice car to drive, yeah, and it's got some nice fitments inside.
Let's have a little look inside if we can, Phil. Yeah. It's all very futuristic.
Everything, carbon steering wheel, racing seats.
It's a very strange gear lever we got.
Well, the reason it's quite high, if you, it's not sequential. They do come with a small gear lever, but at high speed, most drivers, when they're looking ahead, you need to know where that gear lever is, and they found it much easier for drivers. It's just a little bit like when you watch some of the touring car races, they've got the gear lever, but that's a sequential. It's high up, and I must admit, driving it when you got your hand there and the gear lever is right next to it, that's the reason it's high. Everything else obviously is leather and suede. That's about it.
Storage. How about going to Tesco's? What's your storage space?
There's not a lot of storage space in it. I mean, I've got my suitcases and everything in that side. Well, there's no point in showing any other bits, but because the roof just folds away.
Can you get anything in the bonnet?
Not really, no, because this slides in there.
Well, you don't need to go shopping in it anyway.
Well, you wouldn't want to leave it in.
What about when you go in Europe, though? You might want to... Can you get anything...
Well, normally when we go abroad, we've got other people coming with us, so...
just chuck it in their car.
I know. So you don't want too much clutter in the car.
No.
That's about it. It doesn't come with a toolkit. And you wouldn't be able to change the wheels anyhow, because it needs a commercial vehicle bolt to take that off. I've forgotten how many Newton pounds. It's a lot, and I know when we've had the wheels changed, their air guns can't move that. They have to get a commercial vehicle, with a lorry thing to, because they're done up so tight.
Yeah. Fantastic,
so
Phil.
That's about it.
It's an absolute beaut, and thank you ever so much for joining us on fGear.
And I'd just like to say that it's a great day, and the amount of money raised for a very, very good cause. And it's a pleasure to be able to bring the cars down here.
Yeah.
To show other people and give them an exciting day. And at the same time, all these people here have donated to a good charity.
Exactly.
And that's the nice thing about it.
And we've got a great host and obviously great people.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks, Phil.